our mourning, our lament, and our hope, our fragile hope for peace. Let us begin.
Good morning. I'm Jessica Sawyer, the worship associate for today's service. My pronouns are she, her. I'm wearing black pants and a dark purple jacket. I am a gray-haired grandmother. As Janelle and Paul Moreland come forward to kindle our chalice, please share in the chat where you are lighting your chalice from. Please rise in body and or in spirit to share our chalice lighting words. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of freedom.
Good morning again. I am the Reverend Dana Edwards. I forgot to say that earlier. And thank you, Reverend Abi, for that reflection. I really appreciated that. One of the things that I like to do when I get that feeling of hopelessness and helplessness is to pray. And so I invite you into a moment of prayer and reflection and centering. I invite you to just be where you are right now. Take a deep breath as you feel called to do so and release it. Connecting with that still small voice inside of you. as we pray together. Come by here, God of justice and mercy, God of love and hope, God of all nations and enfleshed in our bodies and in our daily lives. Our hearts are heavy today with news of violence and cycles of retribution and revenge that are playing out in the Middle East today. We watch this ancient narrative explode on our screens, and many of us feel the aftershocks in the marrow of our bones. Our DNA vibrates with the echo of generations of trauma and violence. Oh God, come by here and help us to stop feeling helpless. Help us move from a place of rigidness, stiffness, protection, and into a place of flow, of suppleness, and of flexibility. Help us release that tension in our bodies as we release each breath. Help us release that trauma when we are ready. Help us release as the tears flow from our eyes. Help us release that heartache, the heartache of each beat of our pulse as it moves through our blood, through our body. Oh God, come by here and move us beyond the binaries of Israel and Palestine, left and right, west and east, Muslim and Jew. Move us into the liminal space and the holy place of both and, where we see each other as humans first, and our humanity is cherished. A space where we can imagine not just peace, but the beauty of creation and thriving, where everyone has access to water and health care, freedom of movement, and feels safe in their own home. Imagine that. If we can imagine it, if we can see it in our souls, and our souls can connect with each other in this space right here, right now. If we can connect with each other, we can access a power beyond all measure and make it so. Oh God, come by here right now. Make it so. May it be so. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be.
Oh, if it could be in every moment. Oh, if it could be deep within us to call out these sweet, prayerful words. Come by here, my Lord, come by here. With each breath we take, Oh, in every moment, to awaken deeply our hearts, our hearts. If this were the anthem, in every moment, come by here, Lord, come by here. Come by here, my Lord, come by here. Come by here, my Lord, come by here. Someone's praying, Lord, come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here. Lord, we need you now. Come by here. Don't know where to turn. Come by here. Come by here, my Lord. Come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here. We're all praying, Lord, please come by here. Touch us with your love, come by here. Please forgive us, Lord, come by here. Oh, Lord, come by here.
Today we share the plate with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. UUSC is an international human rights organization grounded in Unitarian Universalist values and founded in response to the rise of Nazism. Since their founding, they have continued to support people facing humanitarian crises and displacement from their homes due to natural disaster, political violence, genocide, severe climate change impacts, and more. UUSC's work is based on a partnership model that centers the experience and leadership of the people who are most impacted by injustice. This partnership includes support of some of the most creative and courageous groups of people who are working for justice, often under very dangerous conditions. For example, they work with partners in Alaska, Louisiana, and the Pacific to support indigenous communities facing rising seas, melting permafrost, and other severe climate change impacts in their ancestral lands. They partner to support Central Americans fleeing gang violence, gender-based violence, and economic devastation, working with their partners to support people in migration and asylum seekers in transit and in the United States, as well as collaborating to address the root cause of migration. Your support, it ensures that in these chaotic times, with threats to human rights expanding in many areas, in many arenas, their response too can expand. So you can give by texting CLUUC and the dollar amount you would like to give to 73256, or give online or on PayPal, or by mailing a check to the church, or you can place your gift into the offering plates. However you choose to give, we are thankful for your generous support. The offering will now be gratefully given and received.
We hold these words of Mahatma Gandhi. If someone with courage and vision can rise to lead in nonviolent action, the winter of despair can, in the twinkling of an eye, be turned into the summer of hope. Let the people say, it is possible to live in peace.
Nonviolence is not a garment to be put on and off at will. Its seat is in the heart, and it must be an inseparable part of our being.
It is possible to live in peace.
Nonviolence, which is a quality of the heart, cannot come by an appeal to the brain. It is a plant of slow growth, growing imperceptibly and surely.
It is possible to live in peace.
If a single person achieves the highest kind of love, it will be sufficient to neutralize the hate of millions.
It is possible to live in peace.
If we are to reach real peace in this world, and if we are to carry on a real war against war, we shall have to begin with the children.
It is possible to live in peace.
The future depends on what we do in the present.
It is possible to live in peace.
Please rise in body and/or in spirit to sing There Is More Love Somewhere. The words are on screen in the hymnal.
Hello, my dear friends. It's an honor to be with you today. Thank you, Reverend Jenna Munchie and all, for allowing me to share a bit of reflection at these challenging times. I begin my thoughts with you with just some thoughts that moved through me in the last day or so. As I traverse the dusty inner garden pathway between the heart and the head, my breathing slows as I reflect the pain the frustration, the fear, the energy-draining feeling of uncertainty as I ask myself the question, what has happened to us? How have we gotten to this place of undoing, dividing, inciting chaos? You know, as a musician, my journey is with music. This morning, as my wife and I were having some coffee, she said, she used this beautiful term, speaking music. And I realized that that's a huge part of my journey, is to voice through music that which will inspire and remind the heart. I give honor and thanks to my teachers from West Africa and from the Middle East who have guided me on the pathway of understanding and living into this. How do we find our way back to articulating our humanity, or even more broadly articulating our humanity? All over the world. I started to make a list and I kind of stopped, you know. I mean, here in America, with the challenges that we face in terms of seeing, feeling, and being with each other in kind, caring, and supportive ways. In Israel, Palestine, in Ukraine, in Armenia, in Africa, in Myanmar, throughout the world. Our ability to feel each other. You know, I was reading a book several weeks ago because I also live in the world of helping to collaborate with art and science to articulate and quantify the fact that art, creativity, our ability to create together is a very, very important part of our health and well-being, and also one of the strongest ways that we can enliven our desire to articulate the highest level of our humanity. I read this passage that spoke about the felt sense. It was in regards to the vagus nerve, this very, very important nerve that runs through our body that really is kind of the meter and guider for so much of who we are health-wise. And it talked about the power of the felt sense. And it actually almost brought tears to my eyes, because my wonderings and my experiences when I have been in conflict places. For instance, I spent a tremendous amount of time in Israel, Palestine, engaging in creating spaces where people could come together and feel each other, know each other's stories, authentic stories, not that which were told or taught by someone else. But, you know, I've lived in my life the reality that when we give ourselves the opportunity to look into each other's eyes and share each other's stories, we come to feel a sense of commonality. We come to feel a sense of our humanity. You know, all week long, I've been sort of deluged by focus. What do we do? You know, what do we do about this? Look at what's going on in the world. What do we do? What is it that we can do to change? You know, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And I was guided many years ago to realize that our journey towards transformation, understanding, is not just a doing thing. It's a being thing. Every day I ask myself the question, who am I and who will I be today? How will I be with others? How do I choose to be? What are the threads in the tapestry of my being? And may that being guide my doing in the world. Who do I choose to be? Who do we choose to be? Here in Florida, I work as artist in residence and also community engagement specialist, and I oversee an initiative called Arts and Health, Arts and Healing. And so I do a lot of work communicating about the importance of creativity and art and beauty and what each and every one of us has to offer in this journey towards manifesting and authoring beauty in the world. And so I work with young folks and adults on all levels. And just this past Wednesday, I was in a class and I was talking about voice and singing and language, that and how to understand that in terms of song and how song and melody can touch another by the way that it's sung. But I also said to them, and these were kids around 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, I also said, and that's another reason why it's important for us to really be aware of how we speak to other people and how we engage with other people with our voices and with our eyes, being, looking at each other. And a young man raised his hand and he said, Mr. Johnson, you talk a lot about beauty, but there's so much anger in the world. Why are people killing each other? Why it feels like there's a lot of hate. What's the song? What's the melody for that? How do we change that? What do we do? And I said, well, Victor, we have to remember to see people differently. We have to really, really see and honor and acknowledge that everybody, that all of humanity, all of our earth, all living things, our relationship to the grass and the trees, and our relationship to the wind and the weather, our relationship to each other, most importantly, our relationship to ourselves. It's been my experience, my friends, is that a lot of the work that I have done in the world, both in the Middle East and here in America, when we give each other the opportunity to listen, one of the most important things is to listen. And when we hear the way an individual speaks to themselves, there's a lot of space for learning to love and find peace within ourselves, to find a way to communicate and acknowledge this amazing gift of life that each one of us has been given, to journey, to learn, to expand our capacity to know and mirror beauty and the divine for all into the world. And so I would ask you to consider a couple of things. Number one, this is clearly not a time to place blame. I believe that our Creator, creation, in all ways that we know and recognize, are offering us an opportunity to realize how much deeper we can go into seeing and being with each other. What we refer to as the inner garden in my sacred practice. Really being able to see and feel, have that felt sense. We know what it feels like. We know what it is. Look at tragedy, look at pain, look at storm, look at devastation, look at challenges that we face in the world. We feel that. We don't just see it. We feel that. But is that a reaction as opposed to a natural instinct to be aware of how we feel and how we make others feel? A journey of being. A journey of engaging and being with each other in another way. A journey of calling forth and having that internal conversation in every moment. For truly, I think you'll agree with me, that the breath of life itself is the greatest gift. I think the more I live, the more I understand that concept of being in the world, but not necessarily of the world, but I would expand that to be in the world. and be that which is alignment with all of creation and all of created things. You see, we here in the West, we tend to departmentalize things. There's an ecological question, and then there's a sociological question, and then there's an economic question. There is the question of being. There is the question of knowing and acknowledging in every moment that all life is precious. That all life is a gift. With every breath that we take, we volunteer to continue the process of being in this world. In the great indigenous cultures of the world, before any conversation was had about what the community would do and the plans that the community would make, the community listened to stories and remembrances of history, from whence they came. The community sang and the community danced together and the community ate together so that they would come into a place of heart coherence and then move forward together. I was as a young boy in the 60s, moving through the challenges in America of civil rights and discrimination and the work that so many did together in order to move us closer to an aspiration of freedom. I was moved at a very early age by Mahatma Gandhi, and his influence and his wisdom guidance that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. took and moved it through our struggle for civil rights for all. And there was a quote from Mohandas Gandhi that has really become kind of a moniker, kind of my meditation remembrance. Mohandas Gandhi said, "He who cannot see God in the eyes of the next person he meet need look no further." If I, in every moment, can be committed to and breathe into truly seeing, truly feeling, truly knowing, understanding, and connected to my connectedness to all living things, to all, and this is not like this is not utopia. This is a part of how we know that. You ever watch the eyes of a young child, a baby? Once they're able to focus, they look at, they breathe in everything. They're inquisitive about everything. They wonder. Everything to them is new and beautiful, and they move forward in that way until someone shifts their focus to another place. Have we shifted ourselves away from that felt sense of what it is to be, of that felt sense of our connection to one another, of our felt sense of a desire to hear, to listen, to feel, to know each other from the inside out? Finding our humanity. It's in there. It's in us. It's within us. Can change happen? Can we know peace? Yes, I believe. As we commit ourselves to go deeper into finding a sense of peace within us, as we go deeper into that felt place, that felt sense. This book that I read also said that the felt sense is an undeniable sense. It goes back to that old concept of, you can argue all day long with a philosophical idea, with some academic idea, but you won't argue with how you're made to feel. And so with all of the terror, horror, challenges, division going on in the world, can we individually ask ourselves the question, do I want this for me? And if I want this not for me, then I dare not want it for another. With each breath we are connected. The one great essence that connects us all is the breath of life itself. We are one in that reality, regardless of our philosophical philosophies, our comings and our goings, our tallness, our shortness, our whatever. We receive from the edge of paradise, creation, the breath of life. We breathe that breath in and it sustains us. Our journey is to steward our commitment to give that breath back in the loving way that creation gives it to us. Can we find our humanity? Can we be one with each other? Transformation lives in the cradle of that journey. And this simple little song that we sang and shared earlier, come by here, my Lord, come by here. Come by here, my Lord, come by here. And I finish with a prayer from Hazrat Inayat Khan. Save me, most holy, from the earthly passions and the attachments which blind humanity. Save me, most holy, from the temptations of power, fame, and wealth, which keep us away from thy glorious vision. Save me, most holy, from the souls who are constantly occupied in hurting and harming their fellow people, and who take pleasure in the pain of another. Save me, most holy, from the evil eye of envy and jealousy, which falleth upon thy bountiful gifts. Save me, most holy, from the games, the playful games of the earth that hurt another, lest we might use these games that in the end break us apart like toys destroyed by a child. Save me, most holy, from all manner of injury that cometh from the bitterness of my adversaries, and from our ignorance and unknowingness. Come by here, my Lord, come by here. Quicken us, O Lord, to remember, like when we were children, that the beauty of creation exists in every moment. May we mirror that into the world as we find our humanity with every breath, with every breath. For all who suffer with every breath, may we find transcendence with every breath, and peace with every breath. Ameen, amen, namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, choir. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Before we continue with our benediction, I just wanted to thank Fred for the beautiful reflection that we received today. I was deeply touched and moved by so much of what he said. Something that I am just replaying in my mind is the power of the felt sense and the transformation lives in the cradle of the journey of the shared breath. Breathing is the connection of humanity, which I found myself holding my breath this week a lot. I don't know if you all have been doing the same. I don't mean to do it, but just my tongue is on the top of the roof of my mouth and my shoulders are tight, and I just don't know if I can receive another bit of news about anything horrible. And if breathing is the connection of humanity, I just need to breathe more, right? If I can't do anything else, because I've been feeling pretty hopeless. So I'm taking that with me. I'm taking that and looking into people's eyes just a little bit longer and making that connection with them just a little bit more. Reminding myself that we came here knowing how to do these things, simple things like breathe. Knowing that all of us don't feel comfortable looking into each other's eyes, but all of us do know how in some way to make a connection. I am probably the most neurodivergent person on our team. So I know when I say that we don't all feel comfortable looking in eyes or touching or things like that. But every person can make a connection. And we all can find a way to be connected. And in this time, and in this space, so far away from so many things and so close in our families at the same time, to so much hurting. If you can, remember when your tongue is on the roof of your mouth and your shoulders are so tight and your mind is just running, just that running tally of all of the horribleness. If you can, take a breath. And if you can't do that, just clench and unclench. And if you can't do that, find someone to look at. And if you can't do that, just, center your body. And if you can't do that, maybe stomp your feet. And if you can't do that, just keep going down the list. Because we are connected. We are connected. We are not hopeless. We are full of hope, hopeful. We are humanity. We are connected. Thank you, Fred, for that message. And we are going into our benediction now. A Brave and Startling Truth by Dr. Maya Angelou. We, this people, on a small and lonely planet, traveling through casual space, past aloof stars, across the way of indifferent suns, to a destination where all signs tell us it is possible and imperative that we learn a brave and startling truth. And when we come to it, to the day of peacemaking, when we release our fingers from fists of hostility and allow the pure, cool air to cool our palms.
We, this people, on this small and drifting planet, whose hands can strike with such abandon that in a twinkling, life is sapped from the living. Yet those same hands can touch with such healing, irresistible that the haughty neck is happy to bow, and the proud back is glad to bend. Out of such chaos, of such contradiction, we learn that we are neither devils nor divines when we come to it.
We, this people on this wayward floating body, created on this earth, off this earth, have the power to fashion for this earth a climate where every man and every woman and every person can live freely without sanctimonious piety, without crippling fear. When we come to it, we must confess that we are the possible. We are the miraculous, the true wonder of this world. That is when, and only when, we come to it. I invite us to center ourselves one more time. And as we bring our mind, body, and spirit into alignment with our breathing, the breath of life known by many names, Ruach, prana, breath. Let us breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in peace. Breathe out peace. Breathe in. Breathe out. As we breathe together, connecting with our common humanity and our oneness, may this ancient blessing guide us through this journey. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve bhavantu niramayah. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May it be so.
Sede kuleyai, sede kuleyai, Cedar Kulei, I breathe with you, I breathe with you. Cedar Kulei, Cedar Kulei, Cedar Kulei, I breathe with you, I breathe with you. With every breath, through the blessing of our Creator, we are united in life and living. When our minds forget that we're as one, Sede Kulei, Sede Kulei, Cedar Kulei, Cedar Kulei, I breathe with you, I breathe with you. In your quiet moments when you close your eyes, in meditation or in prayer, remember and know to whisper to all creation, I breathe with you. Sede Kulei, Sede Kulei, Sede Kulei, I breathe with you, I breathe with you. Sede Kulei, Sede Kulei, Sede Kulei, I breathe with you, I breathe with